Hey there, you're listening to the Fave Self CEO podcast. I'm Kayla Evans. I am a confidence coach, a professional speaker, and your guide to becoming your fave self. And today's episode is all about resistance and how to move through it with way more ease and way less ick, right? Like less of that ugh feeling. So this week over on the homestead, I've been tackling a bunch of medium-sized projects that, for whatever reason, came with some maximum-sized resistance. You know, that bleh feeling. When you kind of want to do the thing, you know that you'll be glad once it's done, but your body, your mind, everything else is like, absolutely not. Like there is nothing that makes me want to do this right now. That's what we're talking about. So today I'm going to be walking you through how I move through that resistance in a way that's super gentle, that's super real, and it's completely doable for you in any situation. I'm going to share what I did this week that helped, the exact steps that I use, of course, how I celebrate when it's all done, and how you can work through some resistance, whether it's the small little thing like going through your emails, or it's some medium-sized projects like I was doing, or whether it's something really, really big that you just don't want to do. I obviously work in a way, and I don't think this is going to come as a surprise to anyone who knows me, but I work in a way that is really gentle and kind to myself. Like, yeah, I still get shit done, obviously, but I'm not hard or harsh or tough or mean on myself like I used to be. And I get things done in a way that makes the entire experience as enjoyable as possible. Because I figure that the results are the same at the end, right? The thing gets done and I feel really proud and accomplished. So why wouldn't I make the journey of getting it done as nice and as high vibe as I possibly can? So first, I want to start us off with kind of talking about resistance itself, like why we feel it and why it holds us back. And these are things that definitely came up for me this week. And it's been my experience, like even beyond this week, that the main things about resistance are, number one, you just don't want to get it wrong or fail or screw things up. You don't want to get it wrong. You don't want to do the thing wrong. Obviously, no one wants that. The second thing, and this comes up a lot for me as well, you are so overwhelmed that you have no idea where to start, which came up for me this week for sure. And then number three, and this is very common with a lot of my clients, my friends, people I know, myself as well, you have really high standards for yourself in your life. Like you know what you are capable of. So you have the highest standards. And if you can't do it perfectly, you'd rather not do it at all, which is perfectionism, not laziness, but it is still resistance and it's still holding you back. So no matter where you kind of fall in that spectrum with whatever it is you're facing that against, this is how you can get through it. So my fave self, before I even start a project, before I do anything, I get myself in the right frame of mind, which might sound like procrastinating at first, but stick with me on this. So first, I don't let myself prepare all day long. No. I just take 5 or 10 minutes and I do one of a couple things. I either take a short walk outside, again, 5 or 10 minutes, just to give me some energy, clear my mind for the project ahead. I do some tapping, like EFT tapping, on feeling the bleh resistance, or I do a really quick, really short meditation. And I know that I've mentioned the Empower You Unlimited audio app from Louise Hay tons of times before. But if you are using the free version, it has a bunch of those free 5 to 10 minute meditations. You can actually look them up for that length. They can calm yourself and get you in the right frame of mind to actually tackle a project. And the reason why I love these things so much is because it gets you at that base level of calm. If you're already feeling shitty or uppity about doing something, and you're already feeling that resistance or pain to doing it, it's just going to be an even bigger pain in the ass if you start off that way, right? If you struggle with a bunch of icky feelings at the start, that's just going to hamper you the whole way through. However, if you're feeling nice and calm instead of icky, it's much easier to get into it, and it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience, which is what we're going for here. So the two things, story time here, that I dealt with big resistance around this week were hanging curtain rods and curtains up in my bedroom. Yes, something that is very simple. Don't judge me on that one. And the second thing was putting together my new home office. And I was feeling the resistance around both of them for two different reasons. The curtain rod thing was kind of some perfectionism there. I've only hung curtains once in my entire life before this, and it was a complete disaster. Like they kept falling down. I was really young. I was stubborn. I didn't know what I was doing, didn't have a drill, just had a screwdriver. It was this old character home. It was like lath and plaster. The curtains were too heavy. The rod was too heavy. It kept falling out of the wall. It was a disaster. And so I've always had it in my head like, I can't hang this. I can't do this. Plus, I absolutely love my bedroom. It is the first room on the homestead that I worked on, repainted, redid everything in it. I just love this bedroom so much, and I love this home so much that I'm putting together, that I also felt a lot of pressure about getting it right. And I mean, not absolutely freaking destroying the walls in this house too. And then for the office, it was just that it was going to be a lot of work and I was overwhelmed. So that room that I'm using for my office downstairs had become my storage/dump room while moving into this house. And you couldn't even open the door to that room since I had so much furniture and all of my books from my library in there packed in boxes. Like the room was overflowing. Plus, I actually had to rebuild 2 IKEA wall unit shelves on my own after moving everything out of the room. It was just a whole process. It was long, and I was just thinking it was going to be a lot of work, and it was. So I was feeling resistance for 2 completely different reasons, maybe 3. But I used the same formula I'm going to walk you through to overcome them both. And a spoiler, I did it, and it turned out even better than I had imagined. So, back to the steps. This is step number 2. After clearing your mind and getting to that calm, peaceful feeling, I want you to set the scene. I give this advice for a lot of things that you're about to sit down and tackle, but no matter what, I always make myself a beverage I really enjoy. So I make a matcha, a fresh cup of coffee, put, one of those electrolyte sticks in my water, grab a sparkling water, a Coke Zero. Then I put on music that gets me moving. I love podcasts. Obviously, I'm a podcaster. I love listening to other people's podcasts, and I love audiobooks. Again, on that app, there's a ton of them. But I find that music in this situation really gets the momentum going, and especially a playlist that, you can kind of bop along to, you can sing along, boogie along to while you're working. That's going to keep you way more high vibe and way more motivated than a podcast or an audiobook, at least for me. And then I also, this one may sound a little bit funny, but I also put on an outfit that makes me feel really capable. So as funny as it sounds, I always, if I'm tackling something big, I will always put on one of my band tees that has, more of a badass logo on it, like a skull or flames, something like that. If I'm doing something outside around the house that I think is going to be tough and hard, I put on my work gloves. Like I bought myself this pair of lime green work gloves. I just love them. If I'm about to send like a really tough email or have like a really big meeting with somebody, I put on one of my blouses or some jewelry that makes me feel like a boss. It just gives you that extra oomph and just makes you feel a little bit more powerful. So I guess dress for the occasion. And then if I can, depends again on what I'm doing, I light a candle. And that's one of my favorite things ever. I definitely got that from my mama. I love lighting candles. And this time of year, I have 2 that I absolutely love. One is called Peony Petals. I don't know the company it's from. And then the other one, my all-time favorite candle ever. It's Fresh Cut Lilacs from Bath & Body Works. And I know, people say like Bath & Body Works, it's garbage. It's got a bunch of chemicals in it. Bad for you, bad for your animals. But it's a little tiny single wick, tiny candle. I only burn it in a big open area, and I always have the windows open. And it's like the one really toxic thing that's in my house. So I give it a pass on that. And sometimes, and this is if you're feeling like really, really, really resistant to something, go ahead and pull an affirmation card. And for this, I do usually go to my Louise Hay deck. It's something that is so simple, but you just give it a quick shuffle, place the card deck on your heart, ask the deck, what do I need to hear most at this moment? Split the deck, pick a card, boom, there you go. Easy peasy. And then just have it sitting out somewhere where you can see it. And just remind yourself of how capable you are and how great life really is. Like, obviously not close to the candle, of course, but I do have it sitting out where I can see it. And then, remind myself that this is going to be so worth it. And then I just get to it. Now, for the really bigger, scarier things that I truly dread, like I mentioned earlier, like dealing with a really uncomfortable email or phone call, or for me, it's always paperwork related stuff, forms, getting stuff together for my taxes. I really dislike that kind of stuff. I will actually go stand in front of the mirror and give myself a pep talk. Actually hype myself the heck up and remind myself of one of my all-time favorite sayings. It's going to work out. It always does. And it's going to be even better than you can imagine. And it does. Okay. So once mentally you're ready, the scene is set, I just get into it. So I'm pretty type B. I am not that organized. It is not in my nature to create any sort of plan when I attack things. So I just grab what's closest and go from there. However, I am somebody who frequently feels the overwhelm with my resistance. Like that's usually at the root of most of my resistance is just overwhelm or not knowing where to start. And with the office, that's what was showing up big time. So I just grabbed what was closest to me and decided quickly at that moment, what needs to be done with this? Do I need to move it? Do I need to put it somewhere else where it belongs? Do I need to get rid of it? Then I just grabbed the next thing and repeated and went from there. And I get that, yeah, this may not be the most effective way of doing things, but the point of this story is to encourage you to find what works for you. I mean, that's really the whole basis of becoming your fave self, to find what works for you. So, for example, like when my mom and I work on projects together, she has like a 20-step plan. She knows exactly what to do, when we're going to do it, what the steps are. And that's what works for her. And that's what makes her happiest. For me, again, that's not in my nature. And I can get really overwhelmed with not knowing where to start. So I just have to start. And I do find that once I get into momentum, I stay in momentum. I mean, and of course, like I'm enjoying the process, right? I'm listening to my music. I'm sipping on my drink. I'm having a good time. I do let myself take breaks, but I'm really conscious of it. And I want to mention this to anyone else who, like me, can't let themselves actually wander too far away from your project for too long because you're someone who will not come back to it. So I don't go outside for fresh air because I know I'm going to end up walking around the property, picking some raspberries, trailing off down a trail, and just not come back to my project. I don't pick up the phone and start scrolling through social media. I definitely can't go make myself a snack because that's one thing is I know is a no for me in the middle of a project. I'm going to make a snack, then I'm going to want to clean up. And then I have this thing where after I always eat, I like taking a little walk outside on the property with the dog. Like a snack is just the end of things for me. Obviously, yes, I'm still gentle with myself. And if I have to go take a break to use the bathroom, I will, or get another beverage, I will. But I know myself, so I won't let myself take a really lengthy break that's going to completely derail me. Because again, that's just me knowing myself. And then when the project is done, I guess kind of the last step here, when I'm done with the project or just done for the day, I do something really nice to celebrate it and myself. Like I start by literally giving myself a high five. I just like smack my hands together over my head and I tell myself out loud that I crushed it and I'm super proud of myself. And then I'll go do something I really like. So sometimes it's as simple, and it's usually just this, grabbing my book and a bowl of fresh berries or watermelon and going and sitting on the deck. Maybe I'll take a nap, which I certainly did after doing The Office, which took several days. Maybe I'll just put on some episodes of 90 Day Fiancé and relax on the couch. Just something to celebrate myself and the work I did and appreciate the fact that I did the thing that I didn't want to do. And I feel so much better now that it's done. Because that's the thing. The resistance or the bleh feeling is often way worse than actually the thing, right? Like the feeling against the thing is worse than doing the thing. And another important point I want to point out about all this resistance is to be careful, really, really careful to not make it mean anything about you. And I really want you to hear me on this. Sometimes when we deal with resistance or procrastination, we can get it in our heads that we're lazy or we're behind or we're failing or we're stupid for not knowing what to do next, or we're disorganized, or we're unmotivated, or whatever label you can really easily put on yourself. And that's bullshit. If you feel even worse, you're going to feel even guiltier. Please don't do that to yourself. The feelings around resistance is not who you are. Resistance is just something that all of us feel from time to time, right? It's just a feeling. It's passing around like a cloud in the sky. It is not your personality. It is not who you are. It's just a moment where you feel a bit of ick, and it's totally possible to overcome that and move on, just like the clouds in the sky are going to move on. So please, please, please don't let it mean anything about you. You are not a bad person if you feel resistance or if you have labeled yourself, or maybe somebody else, has labeled you as a procrastinator. And this is the last thing. One more last thing that may actually help you with resistance, and this was a big one for me, is reframing it into something that's actually helping you. So I want you to stick with me on this one. When you're feeling resistance, you can choose to view it as a challenge that once you face it and overcome it, you're stronger, right? You're more capable. You're greater every time you feel resistance and move through it anyways, right? You can view it as an opportunity for you to become even greater because you're doing the tough shit that you didn't want to do at one point, but you did it. You can do the hard things, right? It's been my experience that resistance, like it's never going to go away completely. Like the situation changes, but there will be days and there will be times here and there where, yeah, you do get that bleh feeling to something. But if you're able to view it as an opportunity to grow, to overcome, to learn something, it also makes it a whole hell of a lot easier to deal with. So I think I should do a recap here. First step is to get in a good headspace. Then I want you to set the scene. I want you to find a way to work that works for you. Definitely know your boundaries, like know thyself, celebrate yourself at the end, and then some little extras. Don't let it mean anything about you. You're not lazy. You're not bad. You're not disorganized. It's just a feeling. And if you can, reframe it as a situation that is only making you greater. So there you go. That's my little resistance reset in real time. I hope this helps soften some of the bleh that you may be feeling in your own world, whether, it's curtains or taxes or that one room you've been avoiding for weeks. Like your fave self isn't about doing it all perfectly. Absolutely not. Your fave self is just about showing up and finding a way that works for you. And this is what works for me. So as always, I encourage you to take what you like, leave the rest, tweak it to fit your life. And if this episode resonated, I'd love for you to share it with someone else who might need a little nudge today. Leave a message if you want. You can DM me over on Instagram. The podcast is there at Fave Self Podcast, at Fave Self CEO Podcast. And you can always email me anytime as well. And whatever you're facing this week, trust me, it's going to work. It always does. And it's going to be even better than you can imagine. All right. I'll talk to you soon.